What's a memory from your childhood you thought was innocent but later came back to haunt you? Every summer from age 8 to 12, my neighbor Mrs. Chen would hire me to help with her special garden project in her backyard. She was this sweet old lady who'd pay me 20 bucks to dig holes and plant flowers with her, which was huge money for a kid in the early 2000s. The weird thing was, she only wanted to garden at night. She'd knock on our door around 9 p.m. and ask if I could help for a few hours. She'd say plants grew better under moonlight and it was cooler after dark. Made perfect sense to 8-year-old me, especially since I got to stay up past bedtime. We'd dig these really deep holes, way deeper than normal flower beds, like 3 or 4 feet down sometimes. Mrs. Chen would get so particular about the exact depth and spacing, measuring everything with this old wooden ruler. Sometimes we'd dig for hours before she'd finally nod and say, "Perfect, that's exactly right." She had all these specific rules, too. We could only use certain shovels that she'd sanitized beforehand. I had to wear these thick rubber gloves that were way too big for my hands, and she'd always have me wash my hands really well afterward at her kitchen sink with this special soap that smelled like chemicals. Then she'd make me promise not to tell my parents about our nighttime gardening because they might not understand our special project and would worry about you being out so late. I thought she was just being protective, maybe bending some parent rules to give a neighborhood kid pocket money. The digging was actually kind of fun. Mrs. Chen would tell me stories while we worked about her childhood in Taiwan, about coming to America with nothing. She'd teach me basic Mandarin words and show me how to identify different types of soil. My parents knew I helped her with yard work, just not the specific nighttime details or how deep we were digging. They'd see her beautiful garden during the day and compliment her green thumb. She always acted so humble, saying she just had good helpers. The best part was afterward, she'd make amazing hot chocolate with real whipped cream, and we'd sit on her porch talking about school, my friends, my dreams. She seemed so lonely after her husband moved back to China and genuinely cared about my life in a way that felt special. She'd ask detailed questions about my day, remember things I'd told her weeks earlier, and always sent me home with leftover dumplings for my family. My parents thought she was the sweetest neighbor ever and would invite her over for holidays. Mrs. Chen would sometimes get this distant look when we were digging, especially in certain spots. She'd stop talking and focus intensely on the work, like she was making sure everything was absolutely perfect. I figured she was just passionate about gardening. This went on every summer until I turned 13 and got too busy with sports and friends. Mrs. Chen seemed understanding but sad when I stopped coming around as much. She'd still wave from her garden when she saw me. Last month, 15 years later, they were doing construction on her old property after she passed away from cancer. The new owners wanted to put in a pool where her garden used to be. The workers were digging the foundation when their equipment hit something solid about 4 feet down. They thought it was an old septic tank, but when they cleared the dirt away, they found something that made them call the police. Turns out Mrs. Chen's husband hadn't actually moved back to China 15 years ago like she'd told everyone. The missing person report had gone cold after months of no evidence. All those summer nights I wasn't helping her plant flowers. I was helping her dig his grave deeper every year, adding new layers so nothing would surface and so the disturbed earth would look natural as her garden grew. The police said the body was buried exactly where we'd planted her prized rose bushes,